And three, two, one, we are live. Actually, we were live before I started counting down. It literally tells you when you're live, so you don't have to actually count down. Um, I actually wanted to start by saying I posted a couple of videos earlier. If you guys, whoever's watching again, noticed or didn't notice, but I posted a couple of videos because here in the high desert, we've been experiencing a little bit of snowfall. So I was going to keep these shutters open here. See, I told you I have the brick background, but I also have a beautiful set of shutters. And then if you look just over here, we have a fireplace and a TV. So eventually, I want to set up my desk in that area because I think that the fireplace is going to be such a beautiful background. And I also feel it's going to be more of a formal thing. I want to keep the brick background. I don't want to do it old school or be, one of those people that doesn't really keep up with the times. But I also want to have a more of a, hold on one second. There's a glare on my screen, so I wanted to just make sure that you guys don't see that as well. I'm gonna try to tether this thing together and learn sort of the ropes. These are just my preliminary videos. You guys are getting to see me in my infancy stages, where I got the sniffles because it's cold outside all the time. Where I got this shit-eating grin on my face, and I don't really know now, no, know what are the steps to make this channel successful. So for now, what we'll work on is just kind of talking about certain things, coming up with a different topic here and there, and then I don't know, having conversations, and eventually maybe I'll get one person viewing and two and 10 and 50 and or I could just get these fake breasts and then just start popping them out. And then, and then I'll get a bunch of subscribers because it seems like that's, and I started OnlyFans, but no, that's terrible. That's anybody's hustle is their hustle. Ladies are beautiful, and that's what they're there for. They're there to be beautiful and subtle and kind and nurturing and mothers. And us men, we're meant to live this rugged life of just, I don't know, being men. So if you can't accept that and you think you're supposed to live like a woman, then live like a woman, but I promise they're not going to really accept you like you think they are. And I mean, even when it comes to homosexuals, like the gay dudes that act real feminine and stuff, it's like you guys you're trying too hard. It's an embarrassment. Sexuality has nothing to do with personality. When you act like a fucking homosexual, that's not you enjoying the fact of your sexuality. It's not you trying to do that. It's that you have the ability to be protected now without the retribution, and that's fine. That's fine. You shouldn't be persecuted for your sexuality. That's what we're at now, where you don't get persecuted for it. But to be flamboyant about anything is kind of unnecessary. So be flamboyant if you want. It's really, society just needs to stop catering to you guys. You guys need to fucking adhere to the same dress codes that everybody else does. All these gay pride parades and shit you guys got going on, and these men are wearing these thongs and shit. I'm not gay, and I don't want to wear thongs, but because that's the case, now the level of scrutiny I'm under when it comes to my dress code is higher. And that is discrimination, but it's not really discrimination because you're just holding yourself to a higher standard. And then you have these people who are sexually confused or they're homosexuals, and they some of them don't hold themselves to a higher standard. They feel like it's a normal thing. They say, "Oh, it's normal to talk about your sexuality and all these other things." It's normal to talk about sex amongst adults, amongst your friends and people who you're close with. And it's okay to have a comfortable conversation amongst other adults if that's what the conversation is leading to. But for you to lead a conversation into that and think that it's appropriate, and you know that you're of 1% of actual people who even act or think this way. You're a very small margin of people. It's not like 98% of human beings are gay and they just don't want to say it because they're afraid of the retribution, or even 10% or even 5%. It's 1% and maybe less than that. I don't want to get hung up on a gay conversation about homosexuality. I think that's an important topic because most people don't really want to talk about it. They ignore the conversation when it comes to that now when they get more famous. And then, of course, everybody always, the famous ones, the Joe Rogans and all them, they have to say, oh, well, there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with being gay. There's something wrong when that becomes your identity, because it's just a sexual orientation. It's just how you prefer to get your rocks off. But you didn't fucking build a plane. You didn't design some special rocket ship. You didn't fucking develop a cure for cancer. You're just sucking dick. That's the only thing you're doing. Or eating pussy, whatever it is. When I post this, I'm gonna have to click the contents that's not suitable for children. This is one of the rare videos, I hope, that I don't really curse too much or say things like that, because quite honestly, one of my biggest hurdles is my language. And I think language is very important. When you open your mouth, you tell the world who you are. That came from, I'll get you his name. It starts with an L. Oh, what was his name? Lewis Leonard. Something. He was a very, very profound motivational speaker. And my God, I've listened to him over the years. What a phenomenal man. I mean, just the humble beginnings that he came from, the adversity that people find themselves in most circumstances, they end up folding under pressure and they just accept the circumstances that they're given. Occasionally, you'll find that there's actually individuals out there who will who will go against the grain, who will challenge life, who will stand up and say, nah, this ain't what the fuck I'm supposed to do. I'm not going to accept this. And most of you will. That's why you all appreciate the underdog story. You're too fucking afraid. And it's okay to be afraid. It's okay to be you. I wouldn't want to be you. But then again, sometimes my life is so tough because of all the fucking pushback I give life. I feel like sometimes I don't want to be me. At least not have my personality. Sometimes I want to have this weak personality where I don't fucking push back, where I don't say a motherfucking thing. Man, hey, you got to be down for your shit, god damn it. You don't ever let nobody fucking fold you. I was at Walmart today. So funny. So funny. So I'll show you guys. I think you've seen a quick picture of my truck. So check the previous video. Excuse me. Check the previous video that I posted, and you'll see when I walk out and show the panoramic view of the snow. In the distance, there's my driveway, and there's my RV, and then there's my truck. And my truck, if you notice, it's like spray painted and tagged. So, anyways, I did that because I wanted to test the panels to see how this spray paint was going to adhere to the metal. Because I want to spray paint my RV in that, and I want to spray paint my truck in that, and probably both my motorcycles. So I spray paint this truck, the panels, just to try to test it out. And then I took the spray paint can around with me and I let people just mess around because not everybody gets the chance to do that all the time where, they meet somebody that just says, hey, tag my truck. So I wanted to make it fun that day, not for them, but for me. It's my truck. I don't give a fuck if it's tagged. I planned on painting it anyways. It's going to take a little while, so I don't really drive it too much. But I get this truck. God damn, I'm handsome. Oh man, you guys are very lucky. Anyways, I get there and I park in front of Walmart where I always park, and I'm walking to the entrance, and all of a sudden I hear this guy. Hey, God, what did he say? I can't remember verbatim what he said. He said, "That's a hey, that's a motherfucker, huh? Hey, it's like it's a motherfucker, huh?" And I'm thinking to myself, like, "Oh my God." At first, I'm thinking, man, here we go. I didn't even start nothing, and here I got to get into another fight. I just broke my hand last year fighting with somebody. I broke my foot, and then I just sprained my hand again the other day, and I'm just tired of the violence. I'm just tired of fighting, and I'm not tired of fighting. I love fighting, but I just didn't want to fight today. So, anyways, he wasn't trying to fight me. He just saw my truck, and he thought somebody had tagged it without my permission. And he was just trying to tell me, like, "Oh, these motherfuckers out here just fucking with your shit, huh?" And we started talking and stuff. He turned out to be a cool guy, but at first I thought, man, get into a fight in front of Walmart because I know I can't walk away. Well, I can walk away, but unfortunately, Brandon, he doesn't allow himself to walk away from a fight. He thinks he's supposed to do it because why should he let somebody punk his ass? Why give him the satisfaction? Sometimes I never sucker punched anybody in my life. That's one thing I'll never do. I'll never just sneak up on somebody and sucker punch them in a fight. I think that's a dirty ass thing to do. You need to be a man when you're ready to fight. So, but I don't know. It's just, I guess there is no real rules in a street fight. So does it really matter? It's just gentleman rules. So I guess that's kind of a bad philosophy to have if I'm going to get into, any altercations. Of course, like I said, I'm not trying to get into any more altercations. Well, we're about already 14 minutes into this conversation, and we just talked about mostly homosexuals and fighting, coincidentally. And yet I wanted to discuss something else. I don't know if I've discussed this with any of you or if I've put this on any of my videos yet, but I actually last year was it last year? It was actually the end of 2021. I was accepted into Arizona State University for their master's program in forensic science, and thus far I've been taking the classes in forensic science. And then today, one of my classes it's a psychology class, which I'm not really And I'm not a big fan of psychology classes and forensic science. Or, well, I'm not a big fan of psychology classes, but of course, this is a prerequisite for this class. So I'm taking it. And one of the questions that they just asked, the discussion questions that I had to answer, was about a lady named Lorena Bobbitt. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, if you do happen to watch this later on, I want you to know I will shave my beard. Well, I'm not going to shave it, but I'm going to trim it. I don't like when it gets all bad like this. So it's kind of like a little disheveled. I haven't gotten a haircut in a couple of weeks either. So bear with me. I've been working on this RV project and a lot of things, a lot of moving parts going on this last month or two. So it's been very busy for me, kind of. Anyways, so Lorena Bobbitt, back in the 1990s, she was a female who had gotten angry at her husband for whatever reasons. I'm not sure. Maybe he cheated on her or something. Well, she got angry and she ended up castrating him. And for those of you who don't understand what the word castrate means, it means to cut a male's penis off or to remove a male's penis. And so she did that. There's probably people in the audience that's chuckling, and I get that. I do. I truly do. I was raised the same way to think that way. And that's the reaction that most people give. You hear, "Oh, she cut his penis off," and then they're like, everybody starts laughing. Oh, well, what did he do? Fuck you mean? What did he do? Well, that's if a woman cuts a man's penis off, everybody thinks it's funny. Like we're all supposed to laugh, like he got what he deserved. We don't know nothing about that fucking situation. We don't know nothing about who the fuck this lady was or what he did or what she did. And if he did cheat, women cheat. Should men go around cutting women's nipples and pussy lips off? Should we cut a woman's pussy lips and cut her nipples off or cut her titties off or cut her tongue out? What should we do to a woman that everybody's going to laugh about, that we all think is funny? It's funny. Yeah. Cut her fucking nipples off. We're all laughing and clapping. And she got what she deserved. Well, what did she do to deserve it? Why shouldn't she get her pussy lips cut off? For those of you who laugh and think that the shit's funny. Now, not only that, but she actually got off. Um, she was prosecuted, but she was exonerated for temporary insanity. Essentially, she said that she had the desire and it was uncontrollable, right? And so the question that we received on the discussion question was about comparing Lorena Bobbitt, which who was she was released from her criminal charges based off of her temporary insanity plea. They compared her case in my study to Jeffrey Dahmer, and so they said if she got off with this, should Jeffrey Dahmer had also been able to be granted, an insanity plea? And for me, I feel like the level of scrutiny and the stipulations for an individual to be considered insane should be so high, should be so high. Yet the margin is and the bar is set very low. In regular society, in the court systems, it's left to interpretation. And in the civilian world, it's left to interpretation. No, Jeffrey Dahmer should not have been allowed to get off because he was doing things that normal people wouldn't do. It's not about what a normal person would do. It's about whether or not he knew what he was doing was wrong. And the answer is yes, because if he didn't, he wouldn't have tried to cover it up, right? Lorena Bobbitt, they try to say, well, she was temporarily insane and all these other things. My opinion, and you guys can leave your comments and give your own opinions about this topic, but what I deduced from the situation was that in her mind, she said, I had this feeling that I wanted to do this and I couldn't stop myself. Then she proceeded to go in and complete this task. Now, prior to that, she had no other incidents where any of these feelings ever occurred that she could express from her past and since then. So she's never had a psychotic episode since then or before that, right? Okay, just get rid of that one. But you can articulate that this is the feelings that you had. So that means that you knew the feelings that you had at the time. You knew how you were feeling at the time, which means that you could have prevented yourself from acting on those feelings, even as strong as those feelings may have been. I've had feelings in the past of fucking smoking somebody to where it was so fucking bad. I swear and this isn't, I mean, this is Iraq. This is all in combat. This is whenever, but you're right there on the glass and your fucking finger trigger is itchy. You want to get that confirmed kill, whatever it is, whatever your reason for wanting, for doing what you do, it's irrelevant. Had I did what I wanted to do, I'd be in jail. Lorena Bobbitt should be in jail for what she did. She should also pay that man restitution probably for the rest of her fucking life. There's no excuse. No excuse. They say, oh, there's no excuse for ever putting your hands on a woman. Even that, it's not an excuse. I don't give a fuck who you are. That bitch, if she puts a knife anywhere towards my penis, I'm killing everybody that's in proximity because my dick is staying exactly where the fuck it was from the day I was born. I didn't take nothing from you. Don't take nothing from me. So that's my philosophy. If he was an abusive husband, I don't know. There's battered woman shelters. There's all sorts of things. Look at the state of California. You women have the right to vote, and this is the reason why all this fucking laws are coming out. Where it's these fleeing felon laws. If somebody breaks into your house and their back is turned, don't shoot them in the back. It's all these feminine type feelings when it comes to legislative powers and creating these laws. So look, what's good for the goose is good for the fucking gander. You are, and this is mostly, I believe, when it comes to hypocrisy, the gender, if you were to divide it amongst genders, both males and females are hypocrites, but in their own ways. So I won't give you that one. I'll give both genders that we're both hypocrites. But I don't know. I feel like if we're going to be hypocrites and we're going to punish one gender for the hypocrisy, then let's punish both genders. And that way, one day, the hypocrisy will stop. Then we will no longer have the feelings that we have. Excuse me, where we feel like, oh, I'm okay and I'm allowed to do this, whilst the other person is not allowed to do that. And that doesn't apply across the board because it's not about allowing somebody sometimes. When you look at combat, That to me will always be gender specific. There'll never be a place in a combat zone for a female, in my opinion, unless it's absolutely necessary and they're the last line of defense. Like we ran out of all the men. When, like there's no more men left, or at least there's such a small amount that now the women have to fight. Doesn't mean that women can't fight, but when you have a nation, we're putting our best against our best fighters against our best fighters. And if we put women against men, we're gonna lose 9 out of 10. We might get lucky if there's just like that one woman who used to be a man and had a sex change and then became a woman and just fucking annihilated and dominated. But that's the only way. That's the only way women are going to win against men. Now we're at 26 minutes nearly of this conversation, and I don't want to keep on keeping track of time. The only reason I'm actually keeping track of time is I generally want to keep these videos to about 30 minutes. So I look at the time and stuff. Sometimes they go about to 45 minutes and an hour. The hour is the most I'll do. But listening to a conversation with somebody that's just blabbering on, I guess tends to probably get a little mundane. So the topics that we talk about must be interesting. But then again, I don't have any guests. I just started this. I really don't have any subscribe. I think I got like 2 subscribers. That's friends. One's my mom. No, I'm kidding. She ain't even a subscriber. I need to get her to subscribe. Maybe I should give her a call. And I guess I don't know if that's where it started. Maybe one day I'll get to talk to Mr. Beast, and we'll see how his channel. Well, there's might be an interview out there. I haven't looked yet, but I'd like to see how most YouTubers get their start. I'm afraid to look at videos and see where people get their start because I'm afraid that I'll try to follow in their footsteps. And at this point, there is an algorithm in order to make it, but um, sometimes you want to just stand out a little bit. My audience, I want to be a large audience, just like anybody else. I want you guys to grow in numbers, and I want us to all have discussions and see where we go. I need to learn how to edit these videos. That's for dang sure. What else do I need to do? We need to get rid of these shadows, like this thing right here. I don't think this is good, like this silhouette with my hat. The background is decent, but of course, with this white wall here, there's no pictures, there's no nothing. The quality of the videos are shit. The sound quality is it's okay, only because my voice can project and I think the speaker picks it up very well. But I can always get a better microphone. And then wearing the same sweater each video. I gotta start changing up my apparel and maybe getting some merch. They call it merch. I'll just call it merchandise. Some t-shirts, underwear, socks, hats. I think this hat will be my signature hat. And maybe I'll get some of these paperboy hats that you guys tend to like. And then even we'll get some like artificial beard, uh, prosthetic beards for the younger guys that aren't able to grow it yet. And if you can't grow a beard, it's okay. It's okay. It took me a while. It took me, I think, my beard didn't really grow in until my 30s. So I'm 37. And then, I was thinking about something today too. So I was realizing like the majority of my life, I've actually been under 200 pounds. It's only been the last 7 years that I've been over 200 pounds. The highest I've been is 250, but it wasn't until I hit 30 that I picked up 200. So I'm thinking right now I'm around 220, 225 something. I want to get down to maybe 205, but if I can get under 200, that would be very difficult because one, my muscles are bigger now too, and so I think the lowest I can probably get now is maybe around 195, and even that would be really a struggle. So that's my next goal. That's my next goal, and we're at 30 minutes now, guys. Listen, we'll do a few more minutes, and then we'll go ahead and call it a day. I'll wrap this little conversation up. What do we talk about? Well, we talked about the homosexuality. We talked about masculinity, um, and lack thereof. And then what do we do when we talk about femininity? Well, we don't, because this isn't a fucking woman's channel. So all you women, unsubscribe. Never mind. I'm kidding. Which don't unsubscribe, please. Please watch the whole video. I shouldn't do that because one of these days, who knows? I might actually make it, and I might actually get these clips taken out of context. That was a joke. But what I want is I want everybody to listen, especially ladies. It's probably the most important for women to understand just as much as it is for men, or it's just as important for women to understand as it is for men to understand what masculinity is and why it's something that of such vast importance. Women are great motivators. A woman can motivate a man to do a lot of things. I tell you right now, I was in a country called Djibouti. It's not a joke. It's actually a country called Djibouti in East Africa. I said this last time, and my a girl was supposed to marry, her dad was met me out there. Everything didn't turn out correctly. It ended up crumbling in my hands. I found myself with a broken foot and in a lot of pain, and my I was trying to get a new flight and extend my flight because her dad was asking me if I can extend my flight. Just for me, man, they really fucked me over. Their whole family really fucked me over, and especially her dad was the catalyst. But either way, I'll say this: I did every fucking thing I said I was gonna do. I kept my word as a man. I was a fucking man. I was a man of my word. I didn't do anything against my word. I made every attempt to do everything that they asked me to do. And for that, I was not, she was shamed and embarrassed for even having the audacity to try to go against her father's wishes. This man was controlling. He was, I could see right through all of his shit. The man was not a man of his word. He wasn't even a man at all, but he was the man of his family. So there's not really much you can do about that because they got to listen to him. Unfortunately, the woman I fell in love with was one of his victims, and she was all too willing because that's all she knew. She only knew the control, and she thought it was strength, but it was manipulation. And um, he used me as a means to get his family back under his supervision because he was not allowed back in the country with them. Anyways, maybe one day I'll explain more about this. I have a very, 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 very large amount of crazy little, crazy little stories, I guess, and so I'll tell one at a time. But for now, I want you guys to kind of ease into my life. I don't want to reveal too much. Not that I don't want to reveal everything or that I just, there's really not much. There's a lot to reveal, but it's got to be handled delicately because some of this stuff really is strange and painful. Um, when you're young and you don't have any experience in life, you're gaining experience. And as you're gaining experience, it's up to you and how you were raised and what you took from your experience, your limited experience, to figure out how to navigate through life. And if you do it the wrong way, you end up hurting people. And the more people you end up hurting from being selfish, if you're innately a selfless person and you want to be selfish, you always end up being the one that gets hurt in the end because you care too much. So the best thing you could do is just care about yourself more than you care about anybody else. And I'm not saying you don't treat people right. Treat yourself right. And when you treat yourself right, you know how you treat yourself. And then it's easier to treat people with that same amount of dignity and justice. But my opinion is that there's too many people that don't really treat themselves the right way. So they end up being bitter and angry. And then that carries over to the next person. Well, we're at 37 minutes almost, and I think that that's about all we need to discuss today. It was snowing outside. I showed you a video earlier. I wanted you guys to see it with this window open, but you can't see it now. There's just a big glare. So let me close this window again. And if it snows again, I'll go ahead and try to film it. And let all you Californians see how beautiful the snow can be. And with that, my name is Brandon. I'm signing out. Hey, thank you guys, whoever you are, any of you, anybody that's out there that's listening. This is just the beginning. It's going to be a long road ahead. I anticipate it's going to be many years, but eventually my audience will grow, and inshallah, I'll finally get my retribution one day. But even then, will it ever have been worth it? And that's the real question. How much time do you waste just to be right? There's people out there that don't want their lives to be revealed, and or they just want to destroy yours, whatever it is. But there's people who are on the receiving end and they spend years proving their innocence, years proving themselves. And in the end, it's like it was the juice worth the squeeze. You just don't know. But you just leave it at that. And then you move on. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we're at almost 40 minutes. Good evening, good morning, good night, good afternoon, whichever time of day it is for you. Just enjoy your life, and I'll be uploading again soon. So it's good talking to you guys.